Hi, I hope you had a great weekend. So the Afcon is upon us. Interesting matches played so far. Today is day 3. I think day 2 was exciting. 3 matches were played. So there was a constant theme in all the matches that were played on the 3. The so-called lesser teams actually had a fantastic plan. I think they followed the basics of football really, where you have to basically mask your weaknesses as much as possible, then find key moments where you are going to exert your strength as much as possible, and they did exactly that across all the 3 matches. So the common theme yesterday was that the lesser teams, if you like, I think defended stoutly. They defended very well, then relied on their ability to break forward at pace, especially on the positive transition to injure the opponent really, and they did that quite well. The first game, Nigeria versus Equatorial Guinea. So Equatorial Guinea played a varied version of a 4-5-1. They lined up as a 4-2-3-1, a middle so up top. Ideally, was expected to hold up the ball. Really didn't do much of that, so it meant that balls were threaded into the channels, and the wider players got there. You saw efficiency from them. They basically had one chance. In fact, it was basically a half chance, and they scored from that, and then from there on they defended quite well. On the other side, Nigeria suffered because of a lack of efficiency. They got in front of the opposing goal a number of times, wasted those chances unfortunately, and so they'll be left to rue the missed opportunities. What really did Equatorial Guinea do so well in that match? I think they did so well in the middle of the park. They didn't really allow Nigeria to go through the middle. Yes, there was once or twice where a war pass was made with a through ball from deep in the midfield, but generally they pushed them forward into the wide areas, and I think they knew they were comfortable they could deal with that, and they did well. They conceded from one of those, but overall they still did a fantastic job. On the other side, Mozambique versus Egypt. So Mozambique really not really surprised with the way they approached that match. The common thing about the North African side is that they are going to defend stoutly, especially if you keep playing right in front of their defense. They'll shut you out. So you have to find a way of interpreting those half spaces. The whole. The space between the center back maybe and the central midfielder or defensive midfielder, or the space between the center back and the full back. They did a bit of that in the first half. It really didn't work as well. So in the varied formation of 4-4-1-1, what they did in the second half is that they opted to put two speedy players up top, and I think it worked miracles for them. So what they did is just the ball from the middle, find a way basically of putting the ball behind the opposing defense, and that's how we beat these North African sides, because right in front of them they are going to mark, but then if you put the ball behind their defense, they are quite slow in terms of their recovery, and usually their centre back pairings are basically very, very slow. And that is how they got exposed. Unfortunate to have conceded at the death. Clear penalty. Basically, the player got the man before the ball. Unfortunate for them, but then what you see from that is that you must keep going up to the very end. In the final match, a masterclass from Cabo Verde. So they basically, like we say, they stuck to their guns. Defended stoutly as well to start with. Played in what looked like a 4-3-3. But then they were very quick to break forward. So what happened is that Ghana tried to press Cabo Verde, but then the problem with the Ghanaian press is that it didn't really have particular schemes that they could work with, and because of that, Cabo Verde found it very easy to play from the back into their channels, and they broke forward at pace. Trust me, they could have won that game even by a lot more, but then it didn't happen. But they still won the match, killed off the match in the dying embers. What you saw from Cabo Verde was that they were basically faced to every second ball. Ghana were more reactive. They basically couldn't get the second ball. And even when you look at the goals that Cabo Verde scored, almost a similar theme. So a ball bounces off a Ghanaian player or a Ghanaian goalkeeper, then it's finished off. So basically quickest to every second ball. So what do we really pick from yesterday's matches? The bottom line is mask your weaknesses as much as possible. Know what your strength is and pick the right moments within which to exert your strength. And from what we saw yesterday, all the lesser teams managed to do that, and it sets them up well for the upcoming fixtures and enhances their chances of qualifying.